Okay, the next thing we're going to be doing is creating a scatter with straight lines chart. We've created a few things in Excel, but we haven't created a whole lot of charts yet. So I wanted to kind of walk through how to create a chart and how to modify a few things in a chart. So the first thing we're going to do is create our specific area that we want the chart to include. So in this particular one, the range that it tells us to select is D4 to F14. So I'm going to select a few of the headings up here that I want to be included in this chart, and then these numbers. So D4 to F14. So again, it's not the entire part of this range, it's just part of it. So to create a chart, I'm going to go up to Insert and then Charts. Now you can use recommended charts, or you can scroll through and select the type of chart that it wants you to select. And in this case, it wants us to create a scatter with straight lines. So I'm going to click on the scatter one. And there's two different types of scatter with straight lines. The first one is scatter straight lines and markers. That's not the one I want for this assignment. I just want scatter with straight lines. So make sure you select the correct one. Okay. I'm gonna, I think that's the only thing I do on this, on number 3. And then on number 4, it tells you to resize and reposition the chart. So it covers the range D15 to H32. So I'm going to move it down to D15 and move it over to H and down to 32. You can also use the Alt key to help you kind of snap it into place. If it's not exact, you can just hold down on that Alt key and it'll help you kind of move it just right into the area. Okay. It tells you to remove the chart title. As you're doing that, so when you're doing this, select the chart to make it active, click on the little plus sign here. This is your chart element button, and you can just deselect the title here. So uncheck that box and it automatically takes the title away. And that way you know for sure it's gone from that. So by selecting this chart element, you've got all of these elements here that you need to do. So we've resized and repositioned our chart. We've taken the chart title away from it. Now we need to add our access titles. So when you add your access titles, you're able to add your vertical and your horizontal. So I'm going to select that. So this is my vertical title. This is my horizontal one. So I've got my vertical title selected. If you click inside it, you have to type down here. If you just select it, you can just start typing and it'll automatically type what you want it to say. And this is sales and expenses. And you see it starts, you notice what it is up here on the, sorry, I was pointing at y'all. You notice what it says up here on the status bar as you're typing, sales and expenses. And then when you click enter, it automatically goes in there. Please watch your spelling. I remember it does count off. For spelling, you do get 3 attempts on the assignment, so you can always go back and correct your spelling errors if you make any. And then hours contracted for the horizontal. So remember, vertical goes up and down, horizontal goes from side to side. Okay, so now we've added our vertical and horizontal axis titles to this. Now moving down to number 5, we're going to change the bounds access options as followed. So I'm again going to click on my chart element tool. I'm going to choose access here. Now it's already selected, So what I want to do is click on the little arrow and go down to more options. This is going to bring up this format access menu over here to the side. Now notice that it automatically has my horizontal axis selected. I do not want to change my horizontal axis right now. The first one that it tells me to change is my vertical axis. So I need to, it's not doing that for me. See if I can get this to work correctly. Well, we can go ahead and change. This is C, is the horizontal. It says change the minimum bounds of the horizontal axis to 3,000 and the maximum bounds to 5,000. So this is going to be 3,000, and notice there's no punctuation in this, so you do not put a comma. And my maximum bounds is going to be 5,000. Okay, so I've reset that. Now I want to go over to my vertical. And I'm wanting it to not do alignment. I want to do my vertical axis. Options. Well, I want to give me that option. I did it right before I came in here with you guys, so. Okay, let's see here. Didn't want to do that. Trial and error here. Let's get this working correctly. You can also get to it from up here in this section. There we go. Okay. So let's walk through that one more time and make sure, because I want to make sure y'all are able to get to this. I apologize that it took a couple of minutes, but that's again one reason that I do these assignments. I work through them a few times just to kind of see what issues that you guys may have. So I go over to, I like using the plus sign here. It's a little bit easier. It's just quicker to access. I go to the chart elements, axis, do the little arrow, go to more options. And again, it automatically is coming up with my horizontal axis. I want it to be my vertical. So you saw that I had to kind of click on that a few different times for it to come up. Just make sure it has your vertical axis selected. Okay, we had already changed our horizontal since we were in there, and now we're going to change our vertical axis. So we want the minimum bounds to be 1 million Again, you do not use punctuation in this. If you put commas, it'll come up an error. So we do 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, enter. Our maximum is going to be 2 million. So 2, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, enter. Now, it has a shortcut version in here, and it's 1.0E6 and 2.0E6. That stands for 1 million and 2 million. Okay, it just kind of shortens it for this purpose. It also tells us to change the number format of the vertical axis to currency with 0 decimal places and the $ as the symbol. So I'm going to go down here to number. You'll have to scroll down just a little bit. Change the number format of vertical to currency, 0 decimal places, and $ as the symbol. Okay. So we've got that, no decimal places, and $ is showing. And we already did our, the horizontal with 3,000 as the minimum bounds and 5,000 as the maximum. So we don't have to go back and do anything on that one. So number 5 is done now. Okay. So that is how you kind of modify a chart. I want to show you one more item on chart modification. The only other thing you'll have to do in a chart on this assignment, it's kind of later on, is you have, remember, anytime you create something in Excel, you do have options. Up here, you get the chart tools design and chart tools format. So one thing that they will be asking you to do is to kind of color the chart. So from the chart tools design tab, you do have chart colors. Now, again, it's not on number 3, 4, or 5. It's later on. They'll tell you to go up to the colors, and they want you to use monochromatic number 1. So that is where that is located. Again, chart tools design tab under change colors, and it's under monochromatic palette number 1. And I think something else you'll be using is editing a chart series name. And that is on, I think, number 10 is where that is. You'll select the chart to make it active. And again, from the Chart Tools Design tab, you'll go to the data. You'll use the Select Data button, which is here. And you'll click the series box number 1 to uncheck it. So again, it's not on this one, it's number 10, but that is where you find that one, okay? I guess I could run over to number 10 and just show you this real fast while we're here. So this is how you edit. Let's see where that one's located. This is in the process worksheet. Again, you're doing a scatter with straight lines, D6 to I14. Okay, so D6 to I14. So again, we go to Insert, Chart. We're going Scatter with Straight Lines. Okay, so this is what our chart looks like. You're going to resize, reposition the chart, remove the chart title. We've already done all that. So resize, reposition, remove the chart title, reposition the chart legend. Again, you'll change that by the chart legend, which is right here, and you can reposition that. It says to the right of the chart, so that's how you change that. You'll add net income and hours contracted as the axis titles, the horizontal and vertical. So you'll add those two items to it. Here is where you're going to change the color to the monochromatic palette 1, which is in the first row. So you change that to the monochromatic. Again, make sure you select it to make it active, and monochromatic palette 1, which I've done that, so it changes to this kind of blue-gray coloring. Up here, now we're changing again the minimum bounds of the vertical axis, which we just did. So again, you'll go, whoops, you'll go here, more options, axis options, and you'll have the bounds. Make sure you select the vertical, and you'll change the minimum bounds of the vertical axis to negative 100,000. Just 100,000, and the maximum bounds to 650,000. And then the horizontal axis to cross, horizontal axis to cross the axis value. You'll do this at negative. See, it says horizontal axis crosses axis value negative 100,000. Okay. And then again, this vertical axis is still selected. So we're going to go down here to the number format. Category will be currency, decimal places to 0, and symbol is the $sign. And then it wants you to change the minimum bounds of the horizontal axis. So select your horizontal axis, change the minimum bounds to 3,500, and the maximum bounds, make sure you press enter, the maximum bounds to 7,500, and press enter. Okay, so now we have that set up. Okay, so now we're going to edit the chart series names. Okay, so we have our chart selected to make it active. We're going up to Chart Tools Design tab, Data Group, Select Data button. Okay, you're going to click Series 1. So you're going to uncheck that first. Then you're going to click Edit. You're going to enter the series name. So we're going to enter the series 1. We're going to use E5 as the series name. So we're going to go over here and select E5. Move this over so I can see. E5 is that one. Click OK. You can check that back to make it active. Now we're going to uncheck Series 2, click Edit. Series 2, we're using F5. Go and select F5. OK. Check it to make it active. Series 3, Edit. For Series 3, we're using G5. So select that. Okay. Check it to make it active. Series 4, Edit. This one is H5. Okay. In series 5, edit that. And this one is I5. Okay, and check that. So I've unchecked it when I edit it, and then I check it back to make it active. And now make sure all of these boxes are checked to make them active. I'm going to click OK. Okay. So now we have edited a chart series name as well. Okay. And okay, so that's how you do that section as well. Guess I'll go ahead and do solver with you on this section too. Okay, so to run solver, you've got to make sure you have it installed, and it tells you at the very beginning of your assignment up here on the in the text. I guess you can see that. It says this project requires you to use the solver add-in. If this add-in is not available on the data tab in the analyze group, then you need to go back and do that. So again, if it's not available right here, then you need to go back and follow these steps. I'm going to start a new one and just show y'all how to do solver and everything on the next section.